Friends, today's NRI Summer program from Los Angeles brought to you commercial free by listeners like you. Your generous donations make possible for us to stay commercial free, and today's show is pre-recorded. If you have a question for the guest, please send an email to nrisummer@gmail.com. We will follow up with the guest and find the answer for you. Thank you for your support.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the show on NRI Summer, friends. This is your host, Ramya from Los Angeles. So today in our interview, we are going to talk to young Advait Kartik, who is 8 years old, and he is a racquetball champion. So in this interview, we are going to talk to his parents and Advait himself and know how he enjoys the sports and how he takes his losses as well in the game. So please join me in welcoming Advait on the show in conversation with Advait Kartik. A hearty welcome on our show, Advait and Archana and Kartik.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us. So how does this feel as parents of a young boy who is winning championships and, of course, the future holds great dreams for him? How does this make you guys feel?
Definitely very, very proud. Both are extremely elated. One of the things it kind of reinforces the fact that if there is really good effort and the results are seen, it actually gladdens both the parents and the child likewise. And it's, I think, one of those areas where it matters if you win, but what matters more is the fact that you tried. And inculcating such a culture in your child just at the beginning of their lives, I think it's a valuable lesson both for the parent and the child.
That's really true. Yeah. So you pointed out very well, Kartik. So how have you enabled your child to cope up with any losses in his game as well? Now that you pointed out that just that winning is not the sole motto of the whole exercise or of the whole game, how encouraging are you, or how are you enabling Advait to deal with the losses in his game as well?
I would rather give that credit of teaching those lessons to the mother. He's very well equipped to teach him those lessons. One of we both agree upon, and I think Archana insists upon, is that it's only the losing games that teaches you something. Because with the winning game, you just come away the feeling that you won the game. It's true in most things in life. Archana?
Yeah, the way I talk to Advait before any test at the school or at any game, we don't go, we have to win. All I tell him, you have practiced, show your best what you have practiced. Simple thing that we have, the conversation that have before Advait goes to any match or any test that happens at the school. So once he comes out, he'll come out with if he wins or loses, first thing he'll come out of the door, he's like, Amma, I did my best. Awesome. That is, when I hear those words, that is my. It doesn't matter. Whatever comes after that, it doesn't matter to me.
And like any parent, I think we are more than happy to see our child happy and smiling. It doesn't matter how much he wins or loses. We'll be happy if he wins, but the bigger thing is we want to see him being happy about whatever he is doing. And seeing the smile on his face when he walks out of the court itself is a win for us.
Yeah, this actually feels very great. I'm actually very happy to hear this side or this version of parents, who are not, of course, you are always encouraging your child, but at the same time, you're not enforcing that winning is everything. So that's incredible. So I'm sure a lot of parents out there who want to encourage their children should also take a cue from this point that you have insisted on. So, Advait, how do you feel? What attracted in racquetball? Didn't you like any other sports?
I used to like cricket. Then I switched to swimming, and then my dad played it's outdoor racquetball. I followed him. Then I started liking racquetball. Then I got into racquetball. That's all.
Oh, okay. So I definitely tried playing racquetball with my friends, and the room is so small, and the ball it feels as if it's going to smash you, right? Didn't you ever get scared of the speed or of the game?
I don't get that. I get a bit scared, but I don't get scared that much.
Okay. So at a competitive level, how prepared do you feel for your game? How much time of effort or practice do you put into your series level competitions?
I put a lot of effort and into the game.
Do you want to talk about how you practice before a match?
Oh, so I do 2 ways. But one of the ways I do. One way we go to the Y and practice.
Okay.
Second way, my mom she ties it to thread and puts a racquetball ball in a sock.
Oh,
and then
I see.
Then I hit it, and then that's how the ways I practice.
So Ramya, I don't know if you got it, but let me explain this. So
I got it. It was very cute, but yeah, please go ahead.
Well, as long as you got it. So we in our driveway, we just tie the ball on the head of the ball to the ceiling, and he keeps hitting it for hours. So that's what it does.
Cool, that's great. So at least it's not basketball, so he doesn't have to drip all the time. So yeah, that's great. So Advait, how do you balance your studies and your game practices? How are you able to balance it out?
I'm able to balance it out whenever my mom says after a match, good job, or you did a good after a losing game, then that what she says gets into my brain, and it tells me every time, do this, do that, do this, and then
Okay. So
to answer your question, Ramya, so for Advait is an A student at school. So even he does multiple things at the school. He has been, even when he started at the school, he was a class kinder ambassador.
Okay.
He helped the school to get blue ribbon certified. Oh. Yeah. So so academically, it's not a challenging for him. All we do is it's part of your life. That's how we are training him. Not than any extra thing that you have to sacrifice something fun. So it's just an 1 hour training that we go every week, once a week, and fun matches that he places with his friends at the court on Friday, right?
Yeah.
It's much fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, since you're enjoying the game, I'm sure it doesn't feel like stress or any kind of strain, right, Advait? Am I right?
Yeah, it doesn't feel
Yeah. It doesn't feel hard on you. So, Archana, you mentioned something about a blue ribbon. Can you tell us, or can you tell our listeners what exactly were you referring to?
So, anytime a school needs to be distinguished by California, and by the federal, they offer them in different distinguishing levels. These are award schools, so they can show that they are better off than their neighboring schools, and the overall APIs are good and things like that. So part of that, it's not only necessary to have greater test scores for children, but also overall communication and behavior, social behavioral aspects are also judged upon. And to do the there are folks coming in from the federal and the state school agencies, and they evaluate representative children from each grade. And what the school does, the school picks up one or two students who would be presented in front of those auditing agents who come in from other areas. It's very similar to I don't know if you studied in India, but there is an inspection that happens in schools, right? When the inspection, it's pretty similar to that. And they actually, even in India, it happens that they pick up a kid who is probably the brightest, or they feel that is the most communicative. They bring them forth and say, okay, and ask the inspector to ask him questions instead of anybody else.
Basically, so Advait is representing his school when any of these inspections happen.
Correct.
Okay.
For his grade level.
Okay, that's great.
That is definitely an accomplishment.
That's definitely great. Yeah. That's so. We are proud of Advait.
Thank you.
So, my next question would probably be, what other sports apart from racquetball interest you?
Chess. Chess. Chess does it. Swimming. And yeah, that's how much other sports that get me into interest.
How much they mean to you in par with racquetball?
A little bit.
Okay. But racquetball comes first, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, how you told me that you saw your dad play racquetball and that's how you wanted to get into the game. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how can you tell our listeners how your very first competitive racquetball game was, and what was going through your mind, and how prepared or unprepared did you think, and what kind of support you got from your parents for the game?
So my first one, it was my first match. So I thought it was all about winning. So I'm like, so I was playing every match hard, and like I lost some, and then the last one. In the middle of the game, in the court, tears came out of my eyes, and I was crying in the court, and I came out, and my mom and dad like, what happened? And I'm like, I'm losing. And then winning, and then my mom says, winning is not important. Only if you enjoy the game, that is important. So then I practiced, and then I got the hang of it. Then we got a coach. Then she's a Hall of Fame player, so then she teaches me like a lot, and she's been teaching me since I was 6 in February last year. So, yeah.
Okay.
Now, she puts me into a lot of games like hope and stuff. And then after all that training, I became a good player.
Okay. So let me ask you this, or this question goes to the parents as well, Archana and Kartik. So what kind of an improvement did you see in Advait whenever he plays racquetball? I mean, did you see a tremendous change in his personality, his development, and definitely his inclination towards studies? Do you think it has helped?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is yes to all. And one of the biggest changes we see is as a child, as he's a kid outside of the court. But when he enters the court, especially in a competitive, even though he was never told that this is one of the things we did is we never let him know the difference between playing with a friend on a Friday evening and taking him to the national championship or even to the Olympics. We didn't want to give him the burden of the fact that he's going to be playing something big or something essential. The pressure of it we didn't want to have. So we never told him where he's taking him. And he's 8-year-old. He doesn't ask too many questions around that front right now. So
yeah.
Things we're just driving. Go ahead.
Yeah, as long as he's having fun and smiling and happy, I guess. So coming to the second part of the question, so as an overall development towards his mentality, physically, mentally, or towards his overall growth and development?
Well, I think from a mental personality perspective, one of the things this game teaches you is, while this is an extremely, I mean, if you've played racquetball at any point in life, it's a fairly fast game. The balls travel at what in a professional round, they travel about 140 to 160 miles per hour. It's a pretty fast moving.
Yeah.
But the strangest part is, one of the things you learn in racquetball is the biggest thing you need to have is patience. Patience to wait for the ball to be in the most right position to actually hit the ball. And patience is not something children are born with.
Especially boys. Huh?
Especially boys.
Archana points out, well, she's dealing with 3 guys in the family.
So it is pretty tough for a child to understand that they can hit the ball, but they have to wait. And that actually is a big learning in itself, that when they learn how to be patient, I think that is a big step forward in terms of their maturity. Basically, the whole process of instant gratification changes to a fact that if you wait for the right moment at the right time, and then you hit the ball, you will get the best effect. And that I think is a huge lesson, not for a child, even for an adult for that matter.
I know, definitely. Yeah, patience is what makes us better, right? So yeah, definitely.
Also, Ramya, when he started off playing, if he loses a match, he used to be upset, and he never used to shake hand with the other player who won.
Okay.
He's a kid, right?
Yeah.
Acting, what we have seen is over, I think after 1 or 2 matches, immediately saw, he'll go to the player, you did well, you did awesome. They're kids. They're also kids, right?
Yeah.
They'll go and take hands, and next, as if nothing has happened, he'll go and play with them. That's a maturity for me, if to look at Advait, winning or losing doesn't bother. He'll come back home, okay, maybe I missed points here, I should practice more. Next, after the game, he'll go back to the coach and he'll sit with the coach, and we'll sit, myself and Advait will sit, coach will be okay, what do you think, you have done mistakes? He knows where he did and where he needs to focus.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely, I'm sure, adds up in his life when he's growing too, because he is able to evaluate, and then he's able to respect the opposite player and understand his flaws. So that's great, Advait. I mean, that's really inspiring to hear. I'm sure I'm still learning to evaluate and understand my flaws. So yeah, you're doing great. So in this game, since it's so fast-paced, and of course he's a young boy, so I'm sure he deals with physical injuries more faster. But did you come across any major physical injuries, and how do you guys as parents also deal with them?
Well, I mean, I think that's one of the key reasons why you need to have somebody with a sports background in any family. So Archana's brothers are actually, they play for Ranji. The elder brother played for Ranji in India, and he still plays on a very professional level, cricket. And her other elder brother actually also is part of the national volleyball team in India, and currently plays for the Wells Fargo team in here. He used to play for the Wells Fargo team in the U.S. Coming from that background, we were always told the first and the most important thing in sports to be successful was to essentially be injury-free. And if you can manage to survive through a sport by not getting injured, the only way to do that is going to be getting some professional training, first having fun, but making sure that professional training, you learn to have the fundamentals correct. You need basic things like stay away from your opponent's racket, or don't try to block the ball with your body or something. Very, very simple. These things are pretty simple, But if I were teaching my child, I would not teach that to my child properly. Do you know what I mean? Which
that's
is why you
true,
need, and that's probably where the differences make. Yes, during the match the ball hits his face or his arm, but the techniques that he has learned and he puts to practice really comes handy there. It is a sport. I mean, like any other sport, like soccer or cricket or baseball or football. Kids do get injured, but I think it's up to the player how effectively he or she handles it. And I think we are particularly proud that he has learned the techniques of it. He's also a taekwondo player, a taekwondo athlete, if you will.
Oh.
And Advait is getting his black belt this August.
Wow, great.
So I'm sorry, it's in September, but he's getting that. One of the things taekwondo also teaches him is the whole concept of patience, discipline, and making sure, like when you fall, how you fall. You don't fall with your head on, and how do you make sure you don't fracture your leg or arm when you fall down?
True. True.
We only hope that all of these skills are transferable from one sport to another, and he can use them. So we go to extreme lengths to make sure that he's well equipped within the court, not just as a player, but just as a human to protect himself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, sports and injuries always go hand in hand. So I guess you guys are approaching the right way on how you have made sure Advait knows how to protect himself and still enjoy at the same time. So that's great. So my next probable question would be, I believe Advait has a sibling. He has a brother.
He does.
Okay.
His Wade. He's 4 years old.
So how does Wade understand what Advait does? And
he does understand, and the way Wade takes it is like, I want to do it. So
following bigger brother.
Yeah. He, like, if when Advait goes and gets the medal, he also tags along with his brother, and he'll tell me, like, can you get me trained? I want to get the medal. So the way he took it, literally, he went to his coach and he asked. I didn't ask her. He went and asked during the practice and asked, can you train me like my brother? And
so
he was like,
yeah. So Advait, your brother is going to follow your footsteps, and then who knows, maybe in a year he is going to be the youngest racquetball champion. What do you think? How would that sound? How would that be?
I would be actually very happy and actually really proud. So yeah.
That's great attitude. Yeah. So do you play with your dad now? Do you like making him lose and winning over your dad? Do you play racquetball games for fun with him?
Yeah, I play racquetball games with fun, and sometimes I make him lose, but sometimes he makes me.
That's great. So all in fun. So good. Do you play racquetball with your mom?
Only one time I played, but she's not a racquetball person. She's like a marathon or jogging person.
Oh, okay. That's great. So she could probably make you lose in a sprint or something, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do your friends feel about the whole thing? Do they make a big deal about this? Do they say, hey, Advait is our friend, he's a champion, and we're so proud of him? Or what is your friends' reaction? How do they treat you?
They're very proud of me. And some kids in the school, I have no idea who they are. They ask me, hey you, are you the kid? Are you the kid who is the top 4 in the entire of the United States? Is a racquetball player? And I'm like, yeah.
Okay. That's great.
Then other kids come, and then one's like, basketball? And the kid's like, no, racquetball.
You must invite them for a game of racquetball and then actually show them what racquetball is, I guess. So, so Archana and Kartik, what do you think is the next future for Advait? What do you see in the near future, or the next steps for Advait?
Well, I think he definitely has shown a lot of interest to playing it competitively, and keep consulting with the coach as to what the next steps are. Essentially, she's helping us set up some goals for him as to how he should fit. One of the key things which you really rightly brought up was the whole concept of not getting injured. In addition to that, is also not getting tired or bored of or just getting too much of the game or too emotional with the game. Those are very fine things to be balanced, because he's just 8 right now. He's got a whole life ahead of him. So there may be different choices he would make in his life as we go along. The one thing we know for sure is that if he likes a sport or if he likes an activity, this kid really puts himself through 1,000% of himself into that activity. That's once. So I think me and Archana have decided to just let it unfold as it goes. We will facilitate him with the right guidances along the way for racquetball. We even dream when we were having a child that he's going to be a racquetball player or even pick up this sport, right?
Definitely, yeah.
But what we know for a fact is we want to build our child into someone who if he likes something, he can apply himself to it and make a success story out of it, an inspiring story out of it. And this is something valuable, because what we have seen is he's got some media coverage in the local LA Times here, and also some of the local weeklies have featured him. One of the most, I think, one of the best things that's happened is we have heard of kids who would go to a Trader's Joe or somewhere, pick up the local weekly, and point out and say, "Hey, I know this kid Advait. I'm really proud of him. I really like him. And you know what? I really want to like him." And I've heard this. And I've heard this in Trader Joe's as I was picking up something, and it really gladdens me that...
Wow. I can imagine the feeling, yeah.
It's an unintended effect of it playing, and it, not only that it makes you proud, it also actually moves you a little bit. That another little kid is getting inspired by saying that, well, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. That's yeah.
So I think we both are focused on making sure that he gets the right directions. Well, obviously, if he continues on racquetball, we see that he needs to consistently play for the next 12, 13 years, or the next 10 years consistently, and he can enter the professional circuit very, very easily. So
I see. Okay. So probably my next question would be, how do you feel about the support system here? Do you think Advait could have shined as much as in racquetball or in any other sport which probably is not that popular in the India as a country or Indian system?
Let me make sure I understand your question. So is your question more like if there is not enough of a support system, would like Advait still shine? And is the support system such as in the US, is it providing any kind of advantages that we wouldn't have actually got in India?
Yes.
Okay. So I think the answer is definitely yes. Having a support system is extremely essential for the foundation. But what is also essential is the player's commitment. It takes a lot to practice. I mean, it is fun to win a match, but it takes a lot of grit to practice. And I think while the support system is absolutely necessary to get the right fundamentals and get in front of the right people in the right time, doing the boring stuff, which is preparing for it, actually driving to the court, and you're all alone in the court for more than 5-6 hours, just hitting the ball against the wall. is nothing that a support system can help you with.
Yeah.
So I think it is definitely, having a support system is a great aid. It is almost like having a great road, and then on top of it, if you have a great car and you're a great driver, then you're surely going to have a lot of fun. So I think having a support system is definitely something that we don't even think about as much right now, only because it's given. It's a given. You're right.
Right. So, do you know anyone, as you pointed out that Archana's family is into sports, a lot of different kinds of sports. So, do you know anyone who plays racquetball at a professional level, or at least is pursuing the sport in India? And have you gotten any feedback on how the support system is in India? And have you got a chance to compare? And, yeah.
Not specific to racquetball. We haven't heard. I think that there are racquetball requires facilities which are still very challenging, I guess. It is not a sport that you can play on the street. It is not a sport that you can play without a membership at a fancy club. So surely there aren't many racquetball clubs around India.
Yeah, my brother was, seeing Advait, my brother's kid, he wanted to play. And my brother was, training him in cricket. They live in Hyderabad, and they went and looked out for the racquetball courts. He couldn't find many. And so he was saying he has to probably, for summer, he has to take him to Bangalore to get him trained and all. So it's it's not as simple as going finding a cricket camp, or going to stadium, or right now everyone are into badminton in India. So there's a huge facilities and all, but for the racquetball, no, they don't have.
Okay. So so I guess racquetball, depending on the sport and the location, as you mentioned, it still needs to be a little popular. Maybe Advait will be the shining star for India, and soon there'll be racquetball camps all over India. Let's hope. So probably one of my last questions for the interview is, I'm really curious, as a common person, how do you know about these competitions? Does the coach let you know that there is a game and that Advait has to be enrolled in it, or how do you get to know about these competitions?
So first of all, I think the awareness of this essentially comes from, as we keep playing leagues and winning them, it kind of opens up. That's number one. It's very amazing how the sports system works. It kind of has a filtering mechanism of letting players play in a very common local match, and as soon as they spot some winners, they kind of start filtering them out, and you begin to get percolation of information via random selection through the process, which basically means you win a local tournament, you automatically get an invitation. The Racquetball Association would send you an invitation to play the next level of matches.
I see.
And you're seeded as well, and you get starting seeded as well. And once you move up a specific level of ladder, you get an invitation to play the next one. So it's kind of a league, if you will. And only a select few finally end up playing the national championships, and of which a handful of them are selected to go and participate in the Junior Olympics, which was held this year in Denver, where we went up, and he ended up being the top 4 for his age category.
I see. Okay, so every competition, so the process is very simple, and depending on the players, they get filtered and selected to the next level. So
yeah, and if you don't win, or if you are in the later categories of winning, let's say you play the top you play the top 3 players and you lose, there is another route of matches that happen. But like I said, it's like a set of doors. So each time you come to a set of doors, winners go through one door, the losers go through the other. And and it keeps, and the tournaments just keeps getting tougher and tougher and tougher. And the final ones, which happened in Denver, were actually mind-boggling to see the spirit of all the children. I mean, it's amazing to see 6 or 7 players who are of the same caliber or more of Advait's age. And he's, for example, for his age category, some of the kids are 9 years old. All right. And it's certain rules allow certain age categories to play, and he's 8. In that age, the physical difference of 1 year is humongous.
Definitely.
The 9-year-old kid probably towers over Advait. And I would attribute most of it to our Indian genetics as well. We are definitely much more on the weakling side of things.
Yeah, I was just about to say that of course, if you're competing against a child here, probably he's much more, I'm not sure if I should say stronger, but of course your diet, your food intake, it definitely builds your physical personality. So probably my next question for you guys would be, any special diet that Advait takes to stay fit?
I jog every day. So totally, so whatever, we are on to protein diet, most, and protein and lots of fruits and vegetables. Yeah. That's all. All Indian food.
Okay.
Advait Indian food. So we are totally, yeah. See, now he's like chicken 65. I'm like
Great. So, Advait, what do you think is in your future? What do you feel if you close your eyes? Do you see yourself winning lots of competitions like this and getting into the junior and senior category? Do you see? I mean, I don't know. This is a very long-term question for an 8-year-old boy, Advait. But how long do you think you'll be interested this much in racquetball, and how long do you want to play this game?
So I want, my future is that I want to be a number 1 player in the world.
Awesome.
There is one number 1 player, but he's older than me, so yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it was great talking to you guys. Advait, NRI Samay team would love to see you win more and more competitions like this. And I really hope to see racquetball as a sport in India as well. Like Saina Nehwal and Sania Mirza made their respective sports popular. I think Advait should be credited for making racquetball popular in India. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
That would be cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so all the very best, and I hope you succeed in every game, and your parents are really great coaches to you in your everyday life. And definitely what they say is just winning the game is not enough. You are enjoying, you are happy, and thank you so much, Archana and Kartik, for taking the time. And I'm sure this takes a lot of patience from the parents as well to encourage and make sure your child is facilitated properly to play a sport like this. So
you're very welcome. You're very welcome, Ramya, and thank you for this wonderful interview. I'm sure such gestures will greatly encourage a child of his age. We don't know we don't know how much it does, but we're surely seeing him that he's very, very happy about this recognition, if you will. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a nice night.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. If you have any interesting episode you would like NRI Samay to cover, we will be happy to do so. NRI Samay would also like to encourage amateur journalists who have a flair for highlighting current events. You can be part of our citizen journalist team. You could cover an important event interview victims of an atrocity, or document an inspirational story. The idea is to have a mix of experience throughout all parts of the world, preferably supported by an audio or a video clip of your story to be aired, which will be the curtain raiser. You can also submit your opinion articles on important topics to NRI Samay. We will be happy to put it on nrisamay.com in the opinion section. All your work will be credited only to you. And if you're interested, please send an email to nrisamay@gmail.com.